Happy Independence Day, everybody. AOA podcast on the July 4th Eve, or as us Americans like to call it, July 3rd. It's good to be here with you. Solo episode, of course. Frankie C still off on vacation. J Sabs is preparing for her huge 4th of July party. So it is just you and I and today's tomfoolery, which includes the White House naming Kamala Harris the future of the Democratic Party. P. Diddy was hit with another lawsuit, of course, for misconduct. We'll share all the details with you. And Joey Chestnut barred from the Nathan's hot dog 4th of July contest. There will be no Joey Chestnut this year. He's not going to be there. I'll tell you why. Also, did you see the clip of Julia Roberts tickling Travis Kelce in the VIP tent over at the Taylor Swift show? It's kind of a silly, uncomfortable video, and we'll share it together on this episode. What's going on in the live chat? Aussie, Annie, Bird, Robin, Laura. Oh my goodness, all the good people are here early. Lindarella, Cortland, hello. Am I going to J Sab's party? I am. I scored an invite to the J Sab's soiree. Usually hard to get my friends to actually hang out with me. But I got an invite. I'm very grateful for it, and I can't wait to celebrate. We'll put some behind the scenes shots in the members only area. So make sure you're a member if you want to see some shots from the J Sabs West Coast, Snoop Dogg July 4th extravaganza. That's what she calls it. That's what was on the invitation. I don't know. It was very, very long, and I felt unnecessary. And I don't know why I drag Snoop Dogg into it, but that's what she did. It's J Sabs, can't control her. She's a whole thing unto herself. Speaking of a whole thing unto herself, Kamala Harris. How about this for a Hail Mary or whatever the Democrats are doing? Because I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. There was a question at the White House press corps today, and the press, Janine Pulaski, I forget, whatever this one is. She does a great job. I just can't hold on to that name for the life of me. Jen Psaki, that was the first one, right? I don't know, whatever. The new Jen Psaki girl. She was asked during a White House press corps briefing. The president had said back in 2016, whatever, or 2020, 2019, whatever it was. He said, "I'm a conduit president. I'm a transitioning president," meaning the Democratic Party can transition from his generation of leaders to much younger. Like he's going to be the gap, the bridge. I think he was throwing that around a lot in the early days of the campaign, I think, because they were like, hey, we can convince everybody to vote for me for 4 years. I don't know if I say 8, if it's going to be a whole thing. I think everybody was kind of like, oh, give this guy a shot if it's a one-time deal. And now he's running again. It's they're asking her, he had said this thing, the trends and blah, blah, blah. Is that true? Does that mean Kamala Harris is next in line? That's basically the question. And the new, Ivana Psaki said, Abigail, it's something with a vowel. I'm telling you, there's a vowel in her name. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. Does anybody have it in the live chat? Jean something? Jean Psaki. Doesn't even matter. Anyway, she goes, yeah, she's the next, should we believe the next leader of the Democratic Party? Like she said the words leader of a Democratic Party. And I go, oh, I think she's going to get in trouble for that. Maybe, possibly, and I say that because Karine Jean Peary, Karine, it's Karine Jean, like Mean Jean, because that's fucking awesome. So anyway, she says this, and I go, honestly, the Democrats, they're so clueless. They really are. They've hid this woman for 3 years. Nobody's heard peep from her. Anytime I feel like it's a gaffe, like Biden goes ahead and appoints her to the border, and then she never goes. Right. So there's been some missteps. There's been some mishandlings. And I feel like there's been an awful lot of space between the president and the vice president. Again, he had the royal treatment with Obama. He decided to run with Obama because he said, I want to be the last person in the room with you when you make the decision. And Obama agreed, and they ran together and they won. And he fulfilled his promise. Joe Biden was in the room whenever he made a decision. He wasn't one of those presidents that shuns a vice president, or he wasn't a vice president that gets shunned by the president. And I have not felt that sort of mentality towards between the two of them since they got into office. You rarely ever see them together. When it is, it's an absolute like must have. I've never heard him credit her for anything amazing. She obviously credits him. I mean, that's kind of the way it goes, right? You got to point that stuff upward. But I've never really, until the last couple of days after the bad debate, suddenly, they're in the halls together, they're in the meetings together, they're doing all the things together, I guess. Now, obviously, when it looks like, holy shit, we gotta prop this whole thing up a little bit. Make sure Kamala's in the room, make sure we're telling everybody Kamala's in the room. I feel like she was separated. I feel like she was Selena Meyered, if you've saw the film Veep or the show Veep. She was pushed aside. Now all of a sudden she's the next thing. So when the debate thing happened, the debacle and the fallout came off in the last couple of, after the first couple of days of that, people then started to come back around and defend Joe Biden. You saw a lot of scholars that were saying, things like, hey, actually don't drop out of the race because frankly, the Democrats don't have anybody else. And I saw a favorability poll. Now, listen to this. This is a favorability poll. After the debate, they asked if Joe was fit to run, okay? And a lot of the Democrats still felt he was, but that number had slid a great deal. The next question they polled Democrats was for likability. Joe Biden's was the lowest it has been. I forget who. I mean, it's low. It's in the basement. Kamala Harris's likability as president was even lower. So the point that, forgive me, this scholar, talking head, whatever, was making, which is true, is that even though you want to dump Joe Biden and run in the other direction, who are you going to hand the ball off to? And when they asked the obvious question, because I guess there's two, it's Kamala and Gavin Newsom, right? I mean, I know there's a couple other people floating around in the ether there, but really I feel like those are the two options. And Kamala doesn't even work if it's not a successful, 8 years or 4, whatever it is, that's not going to work for her. She's got to make that work. I guess they didn't want to include Gavin Newsom in the poll, but they polled Kamala, and Kamala Harris didn't even have more favorable numbers than Joe Biden. So it's like, if you pull Joe Biden, why could you go to Kamala? But it illustrates my other point, which is that nobody likes her because she's not been positioned to take the victories. She just hasn't. She's not. If she was next to him during every big major win, then you'd be like, oh, look at this amazing team. That really hasn't been the case. Those have been 2 solo shows going on over there. It was written about tons, especially in the beginning. Nobody knows who she is or what she's doing. I mean, they know who she is, but they don't know what her accomplishments are. So for mean Karine Jean Okerlund to be all like, yeah, she's the future of the Democratic Party. I just feel like you could have heard the hands hitting foreheads over at the Democratic the DNC, because it's like, how she can't even beat the guy who nobody thinks is coherent enough to run the country. Mountaintops agrees. She's been silent a lot. She hasn't been set up to be a partner, a number 2. Really, it's not been. I wouldn't say it's been a successful run for her. I think he's gotten some accomplishments and he's gotten credit for all of them. Anything he's accomplished. I mean, I think he almost blamed the Afghanistan exit on her. I'm not entirely sure, but I think he was that the one where he was up at the podium going, that was the last time I saw her next to him was when he was going to, sorry, she messed it up, So anyway, that's the Kamala thing. I wonder how and that's the other thing too. If it turns out that Newsom has the better numbers, even if it turns out that Newsom is edging her by a percentage point when it comes down to it, whether it be most likely not this time, but the next 4 years, when the DNC has to put up somebody new, if he beats her by a half a percentage, I still feel like they would go with him, unless she's coming off the most successful administration ever, which, I don't know if we're ever going to have one of those again. I just don't know if we're ever going to be like, the president's doing a great job, like uniformly across the country. I just never think it's going to happen. I never think it was going to happen. But anyway, I don't know what they're going to do after that. It seems like it was a little bit of a snafu. Not the end of the world, obviously, but a little bit of a snafu this morning there from Janine Pirro. Janine Sabs Pirro. Saki bomb. Anyway, Sean Diddy Combs. Another lawsuit filed, another woman coming forward. According to a lawsuit obtained first by TMZ earlier today, Adria English, ADRIA English, claims she first met the disgraced rapper in 2004 after her then boyfriend auditioned for a Sean John modeling gig. English claimed her partner and another model were asked to perform oral sex on Combs in order to get the job, which they allegedly refused. Despite their refusal, English claimed her partner was given a second chance if she agreed to go to work as a go-go dancer at one of Diddy's white parties in the Hamptons. She, English, is a former porn star under the stage name I'm Unique. That's unique. She accepted the offer, sharing with TMZ a photograph from the 2004 star-studded party. According to them, English claims she began working on Combs' parties on a more regular basis when she was allegedly expected to flirt and drink alcoholic beverages, laced with narcotics and ecstasy. While she allegedly didn't have sex with guests at first, she claimed that changed after Combs allegedly demanded she sleep with jeweler Jacob Araboff, who is also listed as a defendant in the lawsuit. After allegedly having forced sexual intercourse with Araboff, she claimed Combs gradually congratulated her and paid her an additional $1,000. English then said that it wasn't a one-time thing, claiming that Diddy expected her to be passed off to other people. She said she had been sexually assaulted by several other people whom she did not name in the lawsuit. English is also suing Tamiko Thomas, a woman the former adult film star claimed facilitated the music producer's alleged sex trafficking operation. She likened Thomas to Ghislaine Maxwell. Of course, we know her role in the Jeffrey Epstein saga. English claimed she worked for Combs under the impression that he would help advance her career in music. However, she alleged that he used her career aspirations against her with threats to blackball her from the industry. Tough to read these things, and they are just piling up, aren't they? Like my late notices in high school, they just pile up, and then all of a sudden you go, "Oh, this is a lot. This is a stack." This went from a couple to an entire stack. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that's good. I like that one. Sorry, it took me a second to get back on it. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just you hear these fucking things. The whole thing makes you sick now, doesn't it? I can't fucking stand P. Diddy. I really, really can't. Let's move on from P. Diddy. Can't stand it. All right, big deal. Every 4th of July here in the United States of America, we measure the amount of patriotism we have in how many hot dogs you can eat. And that happens nationwide, but its big focus is the Nathan's July 4th hot dog eating contest. Joey Chestnut, who has won the thing so many friggin' times, in fact, he's won it every year since 2016, I believe, has been barred from the competition. He is not being permitted to go and attend this year. Well, that's how it all started. Nathan's didn't want him to come because he has a sponsorship deal with the Impossible Company, ones who make the fake burgers and everything. So he's sponsored by a fake meat company going to a just barely, you can call it real meat, hot dog eating contest sponsored by Nathan's. They were like, you can't do this. So they had a whole big fight. They barred him. Supposedly, they then were like, all right, whatever, you can be sponsored and you can come. And then at that point, he was like, no, if you're going to bar me, I'm going to go off and eat with some veterans and some of our active military. So he's doing like a special, like separate promotion where he's going to do like a hot dog eating contest against those dudes. Now, if I'm ESPN, I would go cover that. I'd be like, that's the story. Shitty conglomerate corporation Nathan's forces young, hip, and open-minded Impossible Burger Company, sponsored athlete, denies him from American Dream or some, jazz like that. You put a whole thing together. You can make Nathan's sound like the worst people ever. Then go cover the other one. Probably won't have to pay as much too, But the Nathan's hot dog eating contest it's like put on by Major League Eating something. I think it's called MLE, like MLB, but just for eating. And they had a whole thing, and they were involved in this. And now they're trying to like push all these other people who could be like stars, but it's like it's Joey Chestnut or it ain't. It's not like the NBA where okay, you got LeBron James, but you got like a whole bunch of other like there's 5 other like amazing like Steph Curry and that caliber. Then you got like 30 other regular superstars. It's Joey Chestnut and nobody. It was Wayne Gretzky and all those other hockey guys. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the league. He's Tiger Woods. He could have started his own golf thing. Probably should have. That's Joey Chestnut's. Who's going to care? I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to take a big leap here. I hope you don't think I'm being a communist. But if Joey Chestnut ain't there, it ain't the July 4th eating competition. If you're not going to invite the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be to compete, how could you call yourself champion? If you don't beat the best, you can't be the best. Am I wrong? There's some tomfoolery going on here in the chat tonight. Look at this. Lots of no wieners for you. Shots of glizzy. J-Sabs can make a foot long disappear. More glizzies. That's what she said. Chat's going tonight. Chat is going on this episode. Anyway, I'm just saying, you got to have Joey Chestnut there. You got to have people caring, people involved. And not that I ever watched the hot dog eating competition anyway, because I haven't. I've never actually really seen it in real time. I look down on the people that stand around on a hot day on pavement waiting to watch other people eat. I have no respect for those people. I'm just saying, did they buy a ticket? Because I'll even think less of them. I don't know. I assume they just go when it's free, Anyway, got off on this whole tangent about free tickets and whatnot. If it ain't Joey Chestnut, I'm not involved. I don't know where I was going with that whole thing. I had a whole thing in my mind and it just absolutely just left my brain. We are getting deep on this episode. This has been pretty deep. I want Joey Chestnut or I don't want anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no second place. Cancel the whole damn thing. Oh, that's what I was saying. I'm on it. I'm with you. Nobody really watches that, do they? We all wind up catching the news after the fireworks where they go, oh, and Joey Chestnut won again. And you're like, oh, well, he won. I knew he was going to win. We've never collectively watched more than 45 seconds of that man eat because we have just, over the 8 consistent years that he won the championship, we've just been seeing 4 seconds of him just a B-roll and then holding the thing, and then that's it. That's the whole. Couple of years ago in the beginning, maybe they let Joey Chestnut go, oh, I couldn't believe I did it. They do a little thing. They put a little sound clip in. Now I don't even think he gets that. He gets the shoving and then the holding up of the trophy or the belt. Now I think it is. That's all. That's all we've ever seen of that, for real. Nobody's ever. Maybe you caught it by accident because somebody left the TV on in between running in and out for buns, and then you saw, you go, oh, the thing. Let me watch the guy. But nobody's ever really seen the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's ever seen it. The only guy I ever won on my wiener is Joey Chestnut. Yeah, that's right. That's my wiener guy right there. Mr. Nuts. That's Mr. Nuts to you. Is Chess the middle name? I don't know how it works. I just don't know. Anyway, all the luck in the world to Joey Chestnut. I hope there's a clip on the 11 o'clock news tomorrow night of Joey Chestnut out there eating with those veterans and those active military members. That's America, baby. That's America. Not the corporate propaganda Nathans and their hot dog eating contest that doesn't even have the best hot dog eater in it. You know what I'm saying? That's just not going to take any part of that. Finally, Travis Kelce Swift, as I'm going to start calling him, and Julia Roberts. They were in the tent, the VIP tent at her show in London. Excuse me. Did anybody see this? It's so good. And Julia Roberts is like, "You're so lucky, wonderful," and she's like fingers on his chest, like she's like, you know, and like squeezing him and like all this, like the way your aunt should treat you. You know, 4 days after you've come home from the hospital, that kind of, ooh, Gucci, Gucci, like the way an aunt would be like, ooh, you know, that's the way Julia Roberts was just in that Kelsey atmosphere, just, ooh, Gucci, you know, talking all this business about it. And it took off. It went viral. Because I'm not sure, and can somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but my wife told me this once, and I feel like she keeps a file on all the cheaters. I feel like Julia Roberts was sleeping around a whole bunch back in the day, would steal men from people. Is that true? Am I just dreaming that? Because I remember thinking to myself, not Julia Roberts, not my sweet Julia. Like, there's just no way. She's so lovely. But then it was true. It turned out to be true. I think she stole a couple of husbands. So I think that was going through everybody's minds. That, and most of the minds of the Swifties were like, who the fuck's this old lady? Is that Taylor Swift's aunt? Does she think he's a 3-day-old? I'm not, you know, he does have a baby face. That's true. But yeah, it was a really strange scene. And then there was like a lip reader that was trying to like figure out what she was saying. I think she was saying something like, you're so lucky and fortunate, or some crazy, I don't know. It's just way too much. He looked so uncomfortable. First of all, I am not. Oh, I think she was drunk, says Christine Colson. Oh, different thing. I think so. I'm gonna be on team Christine. She was drunk. Team. That's my team right now. Because it was very, you know, actors, man, they can be uncomfortable. I don't know why, but so at the Taylor Swift show, not this one, but another one, Tom Cruise was there. And shots fired. They're getting closer. I don't know if anybody can hear the fireworks outside. If you can hear that through the microphone, which you're really not supposed to be able to, I would have looked like a huge asshole just flinching for no reason. That you have to be able to hear. Thank you. You can. It's it was a very uncomfortable, inconsistent pattern. Anyway, for whatever reason, I've been seeing Tom Cruise, saw him at the Taylor Swift show. I saw him at something else where like a fan came up to him, and I'm looking at these people, and Tom Cruise, listen, he's a weirdo. Okay. I'm not down with the Scientology, but he's a great, like, he's so good at what he does. He's Tom, like, all he has to do is be Tom Cruise, and he's great at it. He's such a great Tom Cruise, you know, he really is. And he's so generous from a standpoint of, like, I remember all the shit he did to kind of get the movies back after COVID, and he fucking just killed it in Maverick. He was so good in Top Gun Maverick. You really felt like, I mean, I was in that movie theater like fucking pumped when I started to hear that. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, come on. So good. He's good at what he's really, really good at what he does. But that's it. I feel like he's shitty at being like a human, like A+ filmmaker, C- human. You know what I mean? Like, I look at him interact with people in the real world, and I like when he doesn't really know there's a camera on him, even though he knows there's a camera on him all the time. And it looks like he's so uncomfortable. Like he doesn't know how to relate to people. You know what I mean? Like he can't put those things together. He's so limited in his abilities, it just seems like strange and weird to me. Anyway, I feel like Julia Roberts may be the same thing where she feels like she could just be all up in people's faces, or doesn't know that that's like weird or inappropriate, to be, grabbing up on some dude you barely know. I mean, if you're drunk, that's one thing, but still keep it together, man. Like, hands to yourself. If we revert, I know, listen, it's not the same, it's not equal, but if we reverse genders in that role and he was all like, ooh, people will be losing their minds, and they should be. I'm not saying they shouldn't be, don't come at me, but people would be going fucking, it would be a billion times worse. But because he's like muscular and tall and whatever, people don't think it's that big of a deal. I still think it's like a weird, like, thing to be doing, I thought we were 2 seconds away from a full-on raspberry. I thought she was going to lift that shirt of his right up and just right in there and get that raspberry going. That's what I thought. I don't know. The other big story coming out of this Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift camp is supposedly while in London and Kelsey's taking in all her shows, he spent $88,000 shopping in like an afternoon. Bought Burberry jackets, bought a couple of Rolexes, did this, like, just went on a crazy shopping spree that I don't know how they're getting this information, but they're saying allegedly $88,000. That Travis Kelce Swift, I know he has money. I know he's worth a lot, many millions, many, many, many times over. He's got the money, but she is damn near a billionaire if she's not officially a billionaire. I forget if she actually is or not, but she's got to be in the $800-900 million range if she's not. There's got to be a freedom. Even if you're Travis Kelce sitting there with, let's say, 35 million, 40 million in the bank, and he's living in Kansas City, so practically that's like 700 million. He knows he's coming into money. He is even though you got money, knowing that you are about to become Mr. Taylor Swift, he's just like, fuck it. Let's buy a couple of Rolexes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember, and Travis, I've been aware of him prior to this, as a mediocre sports fan, football fan. I knew he had money. I know he had done a show. He had a reality show. I knew some of these things. I knew dude had money. You never heard anybody be like, you should have saw Travis Kelce flashing those greens around. Like, he was just buying. He was just Mr., up around the room, buying things, taking rounds of drinks. It's like, Mr. Taylor Swift, we could drop $88K in an afternoon. No big deal. Spent $88,000, didn't buy a car. Because I'm like, oh, that must have been, I'm like, they must have bought a car. Shit, there has to be a car. A scooter, one of those, whatever those, there's two wheels in the front, but only one wheel in the back thing. I want a motorcycle, but I want to be safer. I don't know, one of those things. Whatever the hell those are. I don't know. Yeah. Not even. He paid 63 grand for 2 Rolexes alone. The jacket I told you about. He had a couple of shirts from Louis Vuitton. 2 shirts at Louis Vuitton. $3,350. I can't be rich. I can't be rich. Not that we're in any danger of that actually happening. But could you imagine, even again, if I sat here and I told you I had $70 million in the bank, $70 million, and you were like, would you buy this $1,700 shirt? I'd be like, no. Is it gonna play with my nips the whole day? If you're not talking about any sort of nip play, then no, not for 1,400, 1,700. I don't think so. Could you imagine wearing a $1,700 denim shirt? Denim. It's denim. It's denim. I would be like, you want me to pay $1,700 for that when the same thing is $4.50 at the Walmart? I know there's one near here. I know they have denim. You know, $1,700. I'd be like, does it have a $1,600 and 50 fucking pendant on it or something? Like, how did you get it? How did you get that there? Oh, and the matching shorts, which supposedly cost $2,300, almost $2,380. Who's sillier here? The person who wrote this or the asshole talking about it on a podcast? I'm not entirely sure. I'm just thinking this is so silly, but it is so much fun to think that somebody's buying shorts for fucking $2,300. Again, unless there is a personal ball wiggler in those shorts, there's just I'm going to be like this. Where do I put the battery back? If you can't answer over here, I'm not paying $2,300 for those shorts then. Okay? It's not going to happen. You want me to fork over $2,300? You better include, and the battery goes over here. What's the battery do? I don't know. Swirls, vibrates, whatever. Front, back, doesn't matter. I better see some results from sending $1,700. Speaking of $1,700, he bought a Lock & Co. Panama hat for $1,700. It's just what you think it is. It's a Panama hat. Big straw colored hat, black band around it. $1,700. Again, I'd be like, is there $1,600 stuck in the black thing that goes around, the black piece? Is there $1,600 in there? Because why is this hat $1,700? Do you think he spends $88,000 in an afternoon if he's not about to become Mr. Taylor Swift? I don't think so. I think there's no way. I think Travis Kelce saying fuck it 3 years ago was dropping maybe 10 grand in an afternoon. Maybe on that signing bonus day, 20 grand, right? When he first gets the cash. But 88 grand, I mean, an afternoon. We're talking about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. It's not like he went out at 12:01 and came in at 6:30. No, the guy was only out for a couple hours, hitting a couple stores. 88 grand. 88 grand. Whew. Boy, that was a quick one, but fun nonetheless. I hope you had a nice little time on this Wednesday. It is a short one, but we want to keep it short because we got the big July 4th. Go Joey Chestnuts. I'm pulling for you, Joey Chestnuts. Boo Nathan's hot dog competition. I will not be watching, even though I never do, but I'm not going to even watch the news clip at night, which is how I usually find out who wins. I'm not doing any of it. I'm out of it. I hope you guys enjoy the 4th. For those of you who are not in America and don't celebrate July 4th, enjoy your Thursday. What do you want from me? I'm not trying to bring you into the whole thing. It's fine if you don't get it. Canada had theirs on July 1st. You think I walked around saying, hey, happy Canadian Independence Day, everybody? No. Because I'm pretty sure they got the date wrong. Should have been 3 days from that. But I'm not here to start a whole big thing. I'm not. Last time I got involved in NATO, Putin, it's just like we can't get into it. We can't get into it. But I hope you have a good 4th. And if you're in Australia or England or India, some of the big places that we have audience, again, happy Thursday. Enjoy that pre-Friday, everybody. We're back on Friday. I think we'll get Frankie C back from his cruise. In fact, I got a picture of him on the boat. I'm going to put it in the members only area right now. So if you're not a member, join. You can do it for as low as $2.99. It's the cost of one hot dog from the Nathan's competition after it's been half eaten by Joey Chestnuts. You can become a member. So do it. It's a good old time. Join right now. Link in the description below. We'll see you guys all on Friday. Happy 4th.
Show me potato salad.
Maybe we should go now.
Go ahead.